Hey everyone and welcome back to the Latent Gamer. In this video we're going to discuss all level 80 dungeons, what to expect inside and develop a strategy to beat it in co-op or solo. This video is the second video of a 3-part series, so if you didn't see my first video on 5 tips to solo level 80 and 90 dungeons, then I would recommend you see that first. This video will give you a clear understanding of what to expect in these higher tier dungeons. This knowledge will also help you to survive longer and farm these dungeons faster. First, we're going to look at 5 artifact dungeons, which are Midsommar Courtyard at Starsnatch Cliff, the Valley of Remembrance at the edge of Dragonspine, the Hidden Palace of Zhou in Wuwang Hill, Clear Pool and Mountain Cavern behind Mount Aozang, and finally Domain of Goyon at the Stone Forest. Starting off with Midsommar Courtyard, this dungeon provides the resolution of Sojourner, Adventurer, Thunder Suitor, and Thunder and Fury set. At level 80, when you're going for level 4 and level 5 artifacts, the first thing that you need to know is that using Pyro is a big plus and Electro is a no-no. You only have to fight 3 large slimes and 2 cryo mages. Your first goal will be getting rid of the slime with the highlight underneath because it will trigger an ice cage which does a lot of damage. If you don't get rid of him and the cryo mage spawn, this will only mean double trouble because one of these mages will also trigger an ice cage. Get rid of the highlighted slime, get rid of the highlighted mage, and this dungeon will be one of the easiest you'll ever do. The next dungeon is the Valley of Remembrance at the edge of Dragonspine. This is where you get the Traveling Doctor set, Tiny Miracle, Maiden's Beloved, and the Verdicent set. This dungeon will be the easiest you ever do because the only thing that shines here is DPS. So if you build your main DPS right, you will get a 75% increase in physical damage, so there is no hidden criteria, no BS. You fight a few hoarders in the beginning, and after you beat them, you fight 1 Sissin Mage and 1 Pyro Agent. The only thing you should look out for is the traps activated by the Sissin Mage. The Hidden Palace of Zhou in Wuwang Hill is where you get the Defender's Will, Martial Artist, Lava Walker, and the Crimson Witch of Flame set. Even though Overload is one of the faster ways to get rid of Electro Slams, using fire in this dungeon is simply suicide. You get an increase in cryo damage, so having a strong main or support cryo character is definitely a plus on your side. In the beginning, you fight a bunch of Healer Churls and Electro Slams. After that, you fight 1 Sissin Mage. You get 6 minutes to do this, so good luck. In the Domain of Goyon, you get Heart of Bravery, Lucky Dog, Archaic Petra, and the Retracing Bolide sets. This is one of the harder dungeons you'll face, especially if you're unprepared. At level 80, you fight 1 Pyro Abyss Mage, then 2 Ruin Guards at the same time. These monsters are constantly getting a flame buff, but if you trigger Overload, you will get a damage bonus, but if you trigger Melt or Vaporize, you will be hit by the dungeon and your characters will die faster. You'll get 5 minutes to do the entire dungeon, so take your strongest Electro character and dominate. Clear Pool and Mountain Cavern is where you get the Gambler set, Scholar, Bloodstain, and Noblesse Oblige. This is also another somewhat difficult domain, seeing that it has multiple Abyss Mages. In this dungeon, you get a 75% increase in Geo damage, which is pretty insane for all of you Geo mains. But if you did not build a Geo character, fear not because it is totally irrelevant. In the level 80 version of this dungeon, you fight 1 Pyro Mage and 2 Cryo. Because you have Cryo Mages, you will occasionally have a Cold Mist formed on the ground, which can be very deadly if you stay in it too long. Also, the Pyro Mage will activate a Tracking Fireball, which will get annoying if you take too long to get rid of the Mage. You get 6 minutes to do this dungeon, so take your strongest Pyro, Electro, and a Water character to get this done. The next domains we're going to look at are Weapon Ascension domains. This includes Cecilia Garden and the Hidden Palace of Lianchan Formula. The first domain we're going to talk about is Cecilia Garden. This dungeon stops at level 80 and fighting here can be easy or hard depending on your approach. You're required to beat 8 Hydro Slimes first, you're given 40 seconds and you need to beat at least 1 before the time runs out. You repeat this process until you reach the second phase where you are given 80 seconds and 2 Hydro Abyss Mages. You're required to beat 1 within 80 seconds and repeat the process until you complete the dungeon. You will periodically be hit by a Hydro debuff, which increases the cooldown time of your elemental skill and burst. You can remove this debuff by triggering Vaporize with a Pyro character, so take a good Cryo, Electro, and Pyro to dominate this dungeon. The Hidden Palace of Lianchan formula is a little less annoying than Cecilia Garden. In this dungeon, you are given 8 minutes to beat 8 enemies, 6 Electro Slimes and 2 Sissin Mages. The Leyline disorder in this dungeon will periodically drain your energy for your elemental burst. You will also be hit from thunder if not avoided, and these thunderbolts will also leave Electro Orbs which drains energy when you touch them. When you actually do this dungeon, just ensure you have a good Pyro and Cryo character. The only domain left to talk about are the talent upgrade domains, which are the Forsaken Rift at the edge of Dragonspine and Taishan Mansion in Goyon Karst. These dungeons don't go to level 90 like artifact dungeons, but they don't stop at level 80 like weapon ascension dungeons. The equivalent of a level 80 would be 71, and at Taishan Mansion you are given 6 minutes to defeat 8 monsters, 6 Pyro Slimes and 2 Abyss Mages. You will periodically be hit with smoldering flames from the dungeon, which will cause you to take continuous pyro damage until removed. Hydro characters excel in these dungeons, and the only sneaky trap you should look out for is a slime which will spawn and activate that pesky fireball. The Forsaken Rift take the most annoying approach to dungeon design, and you can tell that this is not my favorite. In the level 71 domain, you fight 8 monsters, 7 Cryo Slimes, and 1 Cryo Abyss Mage. The dungeon will continuously hit you with condensed ice, which will greatly increase your stamina consumption until removed. This might not sound like much, but it actually is, because no access to your stamina means no access to charge attacks, sprinting, or dash cancels. You will also periodically get hit with falling icicles, which deals cryo damage. Electric and Pyro excels in this dungeon, but whatever you do, please bring a Pyro character to remove the debuff, or your playthrough will be very unpleasant. Thank you all for stopping by today. Don't forget to give this video a like because it really helps. Subscribe and ring that bell to always be notified. Our next video will break down all level 90 dungeons, so stay tuned for that one.